a lot of time outside, and one of the things that we really love to do is to go to the beach. But before we could, because it would usually be on Saturday, we had to do our morning chores. We would mow the lawn, we'd clean our rooms, and then my mom would start making peanut butter and jelly sandwiches like in a tall tower, and then put a bread bag on it. And then make a thermos of Tang, if you know what that is. Sometimes we would remember the sunscreen, and we would be in the car, we'd take off, and we went to a place called Half Moon Bay. The minute we got in the driveway, we were out, me and my two brothers, and we were like, my mother had no idea where we were throughout the whole day. We were like going in the surf and the sand and making sand castles and finding little things. We'd take this, the whip of the seaweed and like twirl it around. We did all kinds, burying each other, watching all the people looking for treasure. But the rule was always that what's at the beach stays at the beach. Everything works out better that way. Makes sense. So I'm walking around and I go over by the foot of this cliff, and I saw something that the minute I saw it, I knew for darn sure it was coming home with us today. Because it was a rock. It was round like a round bread loaf. It looked like someone had maybe taken a drill, like with a 1/2 inch, 3/4 diamond type drill bit, and had gone like all through these rocks, these perfect cylindrical tunnels going down into it. And when I saw it, boo! I knew it was going to be a pencil holder. You can vision this, right? It was going to have all my paintbrushes, all my pencils, all my markers, all in there. They were going to be like that. I thought it could look like a hedgehog. I thought I could take some clay and make a head and put it on the front. Are you with me? The vision of this? So, forget about not bringing it home. Through some masterful trickery on my part, what felt like 50 pounds, I don't know what it was, I somehow got the rock into the car with my two brothers not seeing, and covered it with a towel, going home, nothing's wrong, get home, figure out how to get it into my room. Now I'm taking my first pencil. It's gonna work out great. I put it in. It's like all crunchy in there. So I'm like, oh shoot, I gotta clean this thing out. But I couldn't do it right then, so I waited until the night. And I took it into the kitchen. And I opened up the dishwasher. And I took my rock, flipped it upside down, and put it right on the rack. And I poured in the soap, and it started the cycle. And I sat on the cold linoleum floor just thinking, I just can't even stand how smart I am. But what I didn't know, that this rock had not been formed by a drill, but actually something called a pittic clam. Or a boring clam, but that's just rude. Sorry. So, the pittic clams start their lives as a little larva with a tiny little 2 shells, or bivalve clam. And then they attach themselves to a rock. And as they go, they have like ridges, these serrated ridges on them. And together with their other clam thing, they go like that. That would be the sound I'm imagining. Into the rock at 1 millimeter a month. And they live about 8 years, so they keep going down, but mind you, they're growing as they're going deeper, so they have no hope of ever escaping this rock that they're going into, but they don't seem to care, so that's just what they do. And they're everywhere, all over the place. I was not aware of this. So, sitting on the floor, waiting for the cycle to end. It's not going fast enough, so I'm like, I open up the door. Oh no. My first thought is that like some sort of ground pepper coffee ground explosion has happened inside with my rock in the middle. And then I look closer at the white vinyl, siding on this dishwasher, and I'm realizing it's sand. And then even worse, I'm realizing it's little creatures. It's all the little creatures that day on the beach that I had been like
taking care of so carefully and like preciously putting them back down. And now they're dead and worse, dying on the walls of my dishwasher. And I'm like, I'm just blown, I'm sick. I'm sick that I am responsible for this. I'm getting a plate, I'm trying to pick them off the walls, I'm trying to put them over here. It's little shrimp, little crabs, little like gelatinous. I know, I'm sorry. Little anemones, little tiny little bivalve clams, and I'm putting them over there, and I'm just like, I'm 9. I was at the beach this morning having a nice time, and now I'm like a mass murderer. And the thing that hit me like a ton of bricks at that moment when I'm thinking, this can't be fixed, is, dang it, what is at the beach stays at the beach. And when I saw that rock, as much as I loved nature my whole life, when I saw that rock, just like that, I had a vision for it, I knew what I wanted to do with it, it was mine, it was free for the taking, and if there were things living in it, it was kind of irrelevant. And I couldn't stand that about myself. It really was a low moment. Now, I did not check myself into some, sadness working through therapy of, yes, you get the idea. And I certainly didn't get buried in the backyard with my rock and the carnage I created by my mother when she saw the dishwasher. And I certainly didn't become like a TSA agent over at Half Moon Bay, checking out people's bags as they were getting in their cars looking for holy rocks. But what I did do was I never forgot that my place in the earth, that we are all partners together, equal partners needing to work together, and I was never gonna have it be that I was just gonna take over and make myself top dog. And for sure, if I was gonna have pencils and markers and pencils, they were gonna go into recycled pickle jars.